Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to Sunday Snacks with Ellie.
And Sam.
Made sure I did it this time.
Faking me out there. Yep.
Well, in faking us out there, let's talk about that and all the faking us out there. There are so many names and so many titles out there for people who are off the grid. There are the apocalypse preppers. There's the doomsday preppers. There's the homesteaders that are off the grid. Some of them are on the grid, but really we're focusing on, what are those labels? The zombie apocalypse prepper. There's so many different mindsets around being off the grid.
Yeah.
We are not talking ever about being that person.
Yeah.
Just to be very clear.
We're not the 20 by 40 basement filled like a bunker.
Yeah. We are not bunker people.
Yeah.
We are not fallout shelter. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I want to visit one someday, but not something I'm digging in my backyard right now. Or ever, probably. We are really trying to focus on helping you really prepare for a 30-day supply of food and necessities that you're going to need if, you lose electricity for a while, if, there's a tornado or a hurricane or,
or COVID and a supply chain issue
crashing,
which we're having now.
We're never getting our supply chain back the way it was pre-COVID, people. Let's just be very honest. Everybody at every level, government and dock worker, are saying the same thing. There's no...
And all of this was the point of why we started Beyond TV and Milk, was like, why is it when there's a snowstorm, everybody's rushing out?
And why do they rush out for...
ready?
Why do they rush out for toilet paper and milk? Is somebody having some dietary issues? But that's a whole other story.
Well, toilet paper, I understand.
I always have a month of supply of toilet paper.
That's what I was going to say.
So,
yeah. I'm never down to my last roll.
Yeah. Milk, I get, but but we digress.
Yes.
So the whole point of Beyond TP and Milk is really to discuss the concept of that 30-day supply and having that on hand. So one of the key focuses that you have to do is you have to realize it's not about being a hoarder, and it's not about assuming that the world is going to end tomorrow, because if it does, then we're all screwed anyway. End of story. Sorry, I have no hope. If the world's just going to disintegrate, we're just going with it. We're really talking about the idea of how to utilize the space you currently have, how to prepare quality food, quality necessities, the most reasonably priced, reasonably sourced, and make it all manageable for you and your family. Yeah. Now, that's going to look totally different for a single person in a how many square feet? 400 square foot apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus a family of four who lives in a 1,300 square foot home and backyard and things like that.
Basement.
The basement.
Yeah. You have a basement. I don't have a basement.
Yeah, that's true. So one of the first things that we recommend you do is, when you're not in a time of crisis like now, literally grab some paper, put it in your kitchen, and start tracking what are foods your family eats.
Favorite meals.
Easy. That are simple. They can require not a whole lot of prep time.
Right.
Maybe not a whole lot of energy, meaning you could use a crock pot, or you can use a grill, whatever your family really likes to eat. Recognize what some of those key meals are as you're going through, and for 30 days really track that, and then sit down with your family for a couple minutes on a Saturday or Sunday, or whenever you're all together, and say, hey, out of what we've got, what are our favorite meals?
Mm-hmm.
And star those off. Because then what are you going to do when you got that information, Ellie?
Then you're going to start a list of what you need to create those meals,
mm-hmm.
so that for two reasons. One, you know what your inventory needs to be, and two, you know that inventory that you're preparing for 30 days is things that your family will eat.
And that's that key.
Yeah.
Right there. What she just said. It will be things your family will eat. Now, I know you have some of those prepackaged when the shit hits the fan meals.
I do. I have one set of them.
Yeah. I know that I will eventually acquire them at some point. Mainly because I want them for the go bag.
Yeah.
For no other reason other than they can last for a very, very long time and I don't have to worry about them. But here's the kick in the pants on that. As much as they say they're incredibly tasty, they're not.
Not so much.
You can talk to anybody who's really ever eaten them that's not getting paid for commercial. They're like MREs for the military. They're there for the calories.
I do believe there are some out there that are tasty, but those are people with bunkers that have big shelves to store stuff, and
not something we all have. I mean, I have a lot more room than you, but not that much.
Yeah.
But the average ones that most people can carry quickly, or even if you're a backpacker, you know what those freeze-dried meals are. They're
if I'm starving,
calories.
I'll eat it.
Yeah, there's enough calories in it to get you through.
Exactly.
It may not be your gourmet dinner.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So our goal for you, the step one, start tracking your food list of what everybody in your family likes. Come up with 5 to 6 meals, maybe 7. There's 7 days in a week, so that you could rotate through if necessary.
Yeah, just imagine that for 30 days, you can't call and have groceries delivered.
Yep.
Or you can't run up to your local 7-Eleven. Just imagine, and then keep in mind, what would I need, particularly if the electric went out, or you didn't have fuel other than maybe like a charcoal stove or your grill, so that you're as practical as you can be, and yet still thoughtful of what your family will eat, and with the understanding that you may eat the same meal several times, or you may all have to give a little. But in that scenario, we usually are willing to give a little at some point in time.
Yeah. And that will actually then give you that second step, which is obviously your inventory. Now, when you're looking at having a food inventory or a pantry, you really want to rotate for freshness. Those are those things that it's stupid, it's a waste of your money, and completely asinine if you buy things that you're not going to eat.
Exactly.
And you're not going to use. So in my house, we actually are constantly using our 30-day food supply. I always end up having, I realized, closer to 60 days of food, but at the end of the day, I have 30 days of dried and frozen food and canned food that I can make into a plethora of different meals, with or without gas and electric, based on what I have available. Now, I only was able to do that because I started really small. So that's where that inventory comes from. So you pick one meal, and now you figure it out. So if it's pasta, if you have, I'm just thinking like, what's an easy meal for little kids? Little kids usually like pasta. Having their noodles on hand that they like and that they're willing to eat, and enough sauce, if you like red sauce or whatever, however your family eats it, having enough of that for 30 days to be able to do that. So that might end up being, for a family of 4, that might end up being anywhere between 4 and 8 boxes of 8 2-pound boxes of spaghetti. Just say it's spaghetti. Now you have 8 2-pound boxes of spaghetti on hand. So now you have the equivalency of 8 meals. I mean, and 2 pounds of spaghetti makes a lot of spaghetti. So you might actually have more like 16 meals, because it might be able to be used for lunch or dinner, multiple times, or used in a different way. So Once you start doing that, you will easily be able to fill your pantry and start to build an inventory, a supply of food that can last you for 30 days. I don't recommend going out, especially with the way inflation is right now, and dropping an extra $300 at the grocery store. I think that's dumb and a waste of your energy and time. Do this slowly, and then that way you will always feel confident and you'll have that on hand. And you're not buying it to sit on the shelves.
Right.
You're buying it so that you eat it. And you don't wait till there's something bad happening. You eat it. So if you need 8 boxes of spaghetti on hand for a month of food crisis, then when you take a box of spaghetti off the shelf and you have dinner with your family, put it on your grocery list for the next week. Pick up a box or 2 of spaghetti. So you now always are using and keeping that supply on hand.
Yeah.
Because when you let it get to the point that you have none before you restock your shelves, you're like everybody else scrambling when there's nothing left at the grocery
running
store.
For your TP and milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And saying, oh dear.
Oh my,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
And the crucial part to that third key focus is to rotate for freshness. So as you pull it off and you get new things in, you need to figure out your storage situation. In my house, what that means is that the old stuff goes to the top if it's stacked, and the new stuff goes underneath. Yeah, it takes an extra 3 minutes to restack it, but that means that when I send my kids to go get something, they can take the top and run and bring it to me. And now we have a viable food source and an inventory that the kids don't mess up every time I have them help with me.
And in actuality, well, like you say, if you're placing it right, the 30-day issue then doesn't become an issue.
It's never an issue.
Because you're always using
the oldest stuff first.
Yeah, just like when you go to the grocery store to buy it.
Yep,
you usually check.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the same thing. And kids can learn that. It's almost like it can be fun.
It is. So my son has gotten to the point that when he goes down the basement, if he's looking for chocolate syrup for making chocolate milk, and he recognizes that there's only 1 jar of honey down there, he'll be like, Mom, we need honey on the list. I don't want to, have a sore throat and not have honey on hand.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah,
okay.
He's good because I've been at your house for supper where he'll bring out something and say, this is our last one.
And he's like, we need to get on that. And then when he does it, if it is the last one of something, what he'll do is he'll write how many he thinks we need next to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I have a much larger number on my grocery list, I'm like,
you're missing. Yeah.
Fascinating,
yeah.
Finn.
Yeah. But it's true. If everybody takes part, keeping track and using it, planning it becomes a lot easier. And should you ever need to use that 30-day supply because you're in a bind, everybody has chipped in to help make that happen, which automatically makes a community
stronger
feeling, and they'll be willing to put up with the same meal twice or something like that, or eat something that maybe isn't their favorite, but they can eat it.
Yeah.
It's because you all took part in being prepared. It also changes how you'll cope should you need to use that for a week or 2 following a storm or something like that. So it all works together if you look at it as you're just kind of extending your meal planning. And then just maintaining after that.
Yeah. And that's the key part, is that when you're recognizing it, it should not all be falling to one person in your family.
Right.
Because, as the mom, I know I may do most of the dinner cooking, but my husband does more of the breakfast cooking. I'm not and my kids make lunch for us.
I was going to say, and you all can cook.
And we all can cook.
Yeah. So everybody can chip in.
And it boils out to the kids usually make lunches for all of us. So that's either leftovers being reheated or making sandwiches. I may not like peanut butter and Nutella, but if the chips hit the fan and I don't have any jelly, I'll eat peanut butter and Nutella. So really what we're trying to get you to understand is there's a lot of varieties of ways to do it. We're giving you a simple and easy method to start out. Again, start out. if you start out with baby steps, it A, won't feel like it's killing your pocket, and
Right.
B, it won't feel so overwhelming.
Yeah. And can actually make you feel prepared.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all about.
Yeah. Make you feel prepared, make you feel more comfortable
Yep.
in, God forbid, what happens.
Whatever.
So what we're going to do is we are going to put a link to a printable for free in this platform somewhere.
Yeah.
Wherever
Well,
that might
whatever.
be.
Yeah, we'll have it for you.
Click on the link, give us your email. I'm not even going to hide it. We would love to have your email just to keep you posted on what's going on with Beyond TPM Milk and give you a lot of free information, because the more information you have in bite-sized chunks, the better prepared you'll be.
Absolutely.
So take it easy. Until next time, bye.
Eat well.
Eat well. I like that. Eat well.